Quest, how are you? We are live. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Welcome to the Black and White Show with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. It is
Wow.
Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. That is our normal time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm just surprised we got an introduction. Hey, look
I,
at that.
I'm trying to remember that. Every week, somebody told me before this, like, you didn't even mention the name of the show.
We just get to talking.
And I said, we just get to talking. So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So, we have you're going to like today's show, Alana. You know
Okay,
why?
cool.
Two
Okay.
reasons. It's clip heavy,
I was gonna say good clips. Yeah.
and I've got a game for you. We
Ooh.
haven't played a game in a while. So, it's clip heavy, and
Yeah.
Lana gets to play a game.
Okay, my favorite.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Excited.
there is a lot to get to. Of course, the big news right now is what is happening in Israel. I will admit, and I'm speaking for myself, and Lana, you could speak to this as well. I'm probably not the top guy to go to when it comes to foreign affairs, especially something as complex as what is happening in Israel.
Right.
There are a few things that I do know. I do know it's a tragic, terrible thing that is going on there. I mean, it is not your normal sort of war. This is
Yeah.
a group of terrorists, Hamas, that has decided that they were just going to go in and attack for whatever reason. And they're not attacking a military base. They're not attacking. I mean, they're
Right.
attacking regular citizens. Have
Right.
killed over 1,000 people already. They parachuted down, I believe, into a music festival and killed hundreds of people there. People just trying to have fun, and sort of reminded me of what happened in Vegas in a way, where they were just having a musical festival and
Right.
just having a good time, enjoying life. And some lunatic decided to gun those people down. So, obviously the events are tragic. The everything behind it is very complex. Lana, I don't know how much about it that you know. But again, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah. You hear me quiet over here because I haven't tweeted about it because I
Mm-hmm.
don't really understand it all. I mean, I hear the atrocities and oh boy, like it's painful to watch TV right now. It's
Yeah.
horrible, but I don't know any of the background. Like I don't know why Israel and Palestine. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand that, and like forgive my ignorance, but the Middle East is one of those things like I really never read up on. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just know the basics. So only the if I only know the basics, I don't really talk about it much, but I probably should learn. And well, I'm trying to learn, like watching TV, like so you get in like the bits and pieces of the background of what's going on. But you know,
Yeah, and I think even the experts on the field are not even exactly sure. They know, you know, what's tragedy. They know exactly why this, the history behind everything,
right,
but it is a complex situation. I will, again, I like to pride myself in Lana too. I don't like to talk about things too much about that I don't know about, but I do have certain opinions based on what is happening there.
right,
And uh, one thing I do know for sure is that Lana and I sort of talked about this a few weeks ago. We had wondered out loud that if a tragic event happened here in the United States, how would it be handled now by our Congress and some of our media?
right.
And I think we're getting a good idea of exactly how it would be handled based on the right wing reaction towards what is happening over there. And their first thought was to blame President Joe Biden under
It,
just blatant misinformation.
it's sort of like just right on par, just par for the course. Like who was surprised that they did this, right? You were just trying to figure out what angle that they were going to use because you knew that they were going to blame by like it.
Mm-hmm.
Women and children are being raped and murdered. Grandmothers are being like kidnapped, murdered. babies are being beheaded. Like, what? Why are we even doing a blame game? Like, this is how disgusting Republicans have gotten. They will just use anything that, and they were probably like, oh yay, we have something to use right now to like bash Biden on. Like, it's, and I think somebody actually,
Rona McDaniel,
no,
yeah.
right, she
She
said,
said this is a great opportunity for Republicans, she said, basically to sow the seeds of doubt of Joe Biden, because we can find a way to blame this on him. And the initial route that they have taken is that there was $6 billion that was freed up
right,
to the Iranians that were originally sanctioned.
mhm, right,
And the $6 billion, first of all, for anybody who doesn't know, came from oil sales during the Trump administration, by the way. And I'm not necessarily saying
right.
that so I could say this is Donald Trump's fault.
No, it's the
I just want
fact.
to, it's
That's
just
what
a
happened.
fact.
Yeah.
So there were $6 billion, and then there were additional sanctions put on Iran, and these funds were held in a South Korean bank, which I don't understand. And so Joe Biden had a negotiation to release 5 American hostages, which used to be a big deal in this country and it used to be celebrated. But there were hostages released, and in exchange, the $6 billion was to be moved to a Qatar central bank. And while sitting in that bank, it is highly monitored by the United States and to be used for humanitarian aid only.
Absolutely.
Did I get that right?
That's absolutely right. The United States Treasury is overseeing that money. And if they need it for medicine or whatever it takes, it has to be approved first to make sure that, where do you need it? We're sending it. They're not just going to give it to the Iranians, right? Like, what? They're not doing that. That's not the purpose of it. So
Well,
this,
originally it was said, some of the misinformation was it was U.S. tax dollars, not one
yeah,
penny.
not
It was U.S.
none.
tax dollars,
And
and there is absolutely zero proof. In fact, it was confirmed that not one penny of that money has been moved over
that's
to
moving.
Iran.
Right,
So
exactly.
when that was debunked, they moved to, oh well, the funds are or it's fungible money, which means that they can kind of spend it in a way. And if they want to make a point that the humanitarian aid is used to purchase goods, and then those goods are maybe sold for bad intentions, that's one thing. But this isn't the first time in American history this has happened. In fact, something very similar to this happened under the Trump administration, where the United States was monitoring money as well. So this is not a new thing. And for them to act like it is and to use it as a ploy to, again, make it look like because of what is happening in Ukraine and what is happening in Israel would never have happened under Donald Trump is just sickening, disgusting, pathetic, and just flat fucking wrong.
Yeah. What losers? Like, literally, what losers? They're just losers. And right now, they don't even have a Speaker of the House. They can't even help Israel. Like, what are you talking about right now? Like, it's Biden's fault. But sorry, we can't write a check because we don't have anyone.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. And there was a time in this country where Republicans would lose their shit during times of tragedy and war or whatever during those times. And if you said anything bad about America, you remember the Dixie Chicks. They said one thing while
Yeah,
they were on tour overseas about America. And you talk about being canceled. That's really one of the only
yeah.
things I could think of that was truly canceled were the Dixie Chicks there for a while. But um, let's go to our first clip. This is Joe Biden, and he is addressing what happened in Israel. Let's hear what he had to say.
Make sure that Israel does not run out of these critical assets to defend its cities and its citizens. My administration has consulted closely with Congress throughout this crisis. And when Congress returns, we're going to ask them to take urgent action to fund the national security requirements of our critical partners. This is not about party or politics. This is about the security of our world, the security of the United States of America.
And I think there's a couple things that drive me insane about this whole thing. Is number one, they're basically, Biden's doing everything that he's supposed to be doing in this, and it's they're trying to act like he's sleeping on the job. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Um, but the idea that if Trump were there, that he would have a better idea of how to handle this, or it wouldn't have happened at all. Joe Biden is probably well more equipped to be a president during these kind of times than pretty much anybody.
Right.
And to think that Donald Trump would even understand any of
What's
this
happening? Right.
is
Exactly.
outrageous.
Exactly. I think Donald Trump said something too, but I didn't even go on Truth Social to even look at it. He did have a comment. It was
He's had a few comments, and in fact, I'm going to get to some of those a little bit later. But but I do want to go to one comment. Guess who I'm about to play?
Your favorite?
My girlfriend. Yep, Jessica Tarlov. In fact, there's a double dose of Jessica tonight.
Okay,
this is Jessica when apparently there was 7 minutes of diatribe from the other 4 on the 5 on Fox News, and they were basically saying that Joe Biden was quiet about this whole thing, didn't say anything. And here was Jessica Tarlov straightening these fucking idiots out.
In terms of what he's been doing then in the interim days when he's been disappointing you, I guess, that he's not on camera, there was a joint statement that came out last night signed by the U.S., France, Germany, Italy, coming together, speaking out in support of Israel. Bibi Netanyahu has thanked President Biden for his support, the Israeli ambassador to the U.S., the Israeli ambassador to the UN. The White House now lit up in the Israeli flag colors, something that was upsetting you yesterday. So I don't really get, besides kind of partisan bickering, what the problem is with how Joe Biden has addressed this. If it's good enough for Netanyahu, it should be good enough for you.
He's got no choice. Yeah.
What do you mean?
He's got no choice because we're our number one benefactor. So Israel, they have no choice but to praise, just like Zelensky has to say.
I mean, it's just such a disgusting response, is that Joe Biden's only doing this because he has no choice. Well, first of all, I thought Joe Biden was senile.
How do you know he has no choice? How do you how are you inside of this brain and saying he really doesn't want to do it, but he has no choice? Like, you're freaking fucking crazy. Joe Biden is not golfing 300 plus days of an administration, which Trump did.
Right.
And 3 days out of a week, Trump was golfing. The other time he was eating Wendy's and watching Fox News. Like, are y'all kidding right now? Biden works like actually on the phone, and they act like, but see, people don't understand. It's so like, oh, well, we didn't see him on TV. Doesn't mean he wasn't working, right? Like, it takes them so much time to probably set up a 30-minute call. Probably takes 2 months to set up, right? So like, once those calls and those things are in place in those meetings, that's it. Like, he can't like veer from his schedule. That is the schedule. Like, I don't.
There's even a clip on Fox News where one of the guys did come out and dispelled any rumors that Joe Biden's not doing anything, and said just because you're not necessarily hearing for him does not mean he's not working. Right. So, I mean, you were right when you said that, and it's just, again, they're sitting there talking. First of all, Jessica Tarlov's got to have the easiest job on the planet. You have 4 fucking idiots who just sit there and lie, and all you got to do is just say the truth for about 2 straight minutes, and you're like, I'm getting paid to do this. This is awesome.
Right. I just come with the facts. I just read.
What? Yeah. So you're telling me this is like the easiest case, lawsuit or case of all time. This guy's clearly lying. I've got 1 sheet of facts and the case is over. I mean, it's the easiest job in the world. But, again, I told you, and you said earlier, we don't talk too much about it because we don't know all that much about it. I did see that there was a major newspaper in Israel, the editorial board had a lot to say about this. And one of the things that they did say is that they put a lot of blame on this on Benjamin Netanyahu and his policies. The policies over in Israel are apparently very much like the sort of policies that they want to start implementing here in the United States. And they're very, anti everybody other than Israel.
Yeah.
And, again, I saw something like that's being discussed. I'm not going to discuss it any further, but
Yeah.
that's one thing. But one other thing too, and Lana, I think you're on the same page with me on this one, and if you're not, certainly let me know. But one other thing too that is pretty clear to me is that, and I think again, religion could be a beautiful thing in some respects if you use it the right way. But
Right.
boy, religion is pretty bad in this world right now, and it's causing a lot of death. It's causing a lot of hate. It's causing a lot of just fear. It's just everything. And religion, I don't know, may not be all it's cracked up to
Yeah.
be,
Really?
or they're just changing the rules of what they think the religion means. And maybe if they get to some special place, they're going to say, dude, you got it all wrong. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't even know what to say because I kind of feel the same. Like I've always thought of religion, and I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household,
Yeah.
and it was always something to strive to make yourself better. So, like,
Mhm.
if you're going by what, the Bible says, or you're all reading the Watchtower, or going to the Kingdom Hall, whatever, like, there's always something that you're striving to get, right? That's how I looked at it. So, like, all religions were great. Like, whether you're Muslim,
Mhm.
you're still striving there. You're still looking up to a higher power and you're trying to do better. Your 10 commandments. 10? Yeah, like you're working on something, but like people, like you said, it's always been used, during enslavement. It's like,
Mhm.
you're telling your slaves, oh, to be a perfect Christian, you know we're supposed to beat you, you're supposed to be enslaved, you're not supposed to be able to read, you are at the station of life where you're supposed to be, like using Christianity to keep people enslaved, and like that's just been what they do.
I mean, is that, and because you're right, and it just think about it, it's just awful. Is that it because back then religion was so strong? Is that something that they got the slaves to actually believe?
Yeah, because remember, that's what they were teaching them.
Yeah.
They were teaching them that because they needed to keep them docile and weak, and that's what religion does for you. Like, God will come down and strike you and make it worse than, how you have it now, like just to keep them in line. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how you keep your kids, people in real Catholic households or whatever, you keep try to keep your kids in line with religion. It's like
Yeah, and I
it's
realize that's a very naive question because, I mean, it seems like the answer would have been obvious there, and it's just yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Again, I'm not against anybody having faith. I'm not against anybody's religion at all. In fact, if I've said this before, if I were in some sort of public office, which I probably would never get elected in anything major because I am an atheist, I don't know, maybe you never, in this day and age, you might, because if you do look at the shifts of religion and you look at where religion is going, at least in this country, uh, non-religious people now outnumber religious people.
yeah.
And the non-religious isn't just atheists. It's, there's quite a few different ones. So yeah, I mean, again, I would be for anybody's religion. I would protect their religious rights, but I'm certainly not sticking up for the hatred and the just downright nastiness towards somebody based on your religious beliefs.
Right. But it's not even like none of this stuff. Where is that being taught? What Bible, what Quran? Like, where is it being taught that you rape women and kill children? Like, what whose religion is that? Right?
Yeah.
And they come down on atheists like crazy. You're the devil, you're this, you're a devil worshiper. But you're out here doing what?
Yeah.
Catholic priests do what? Like,
Yeah, right. But that's the other thing too. You and I've talked about that before. I'm always hearing about somebody who's transgender or gay. They're the ones who are just going from bathroom to bathroom trying to rape your kids.
right.
But I'm telling you, you would think that you would see more of that on the news.
You don't
You'd
see
see
it
that
at
more
all.
on social media. But I will tell you, on social media, I see posts almost daily of somebody in a church
Yeah.
that has molested somebody. And again,
Police
I want to make it
officer.
I want to make it clear that, you know, churches do not turn anybody into a child molester, but there are there's
Child
quite a few
molesters.
stories that come out
Or
of church.
child molesters go to the church because they have easy victims.
Right. That is exactly right. Yeah.
Is pray there.
Yep. So from one cult to another, Hillary Clinton was in the news recently. And did you hear what she had to say?
I did, but I forgot. So
Okay.
like I
Well,
know I read it.
Hillary said something that, of course, has the right wing media and the podcasters
Oh,
and all.
deprogrammed or
That
something,
is
right?
correct. Yeah, in
I
fact,
knew I read something. Yeah.
we'll play the whole clip, but this has the right wing media backwards because it plays right into their hands. And I've even heard some people on the left criticizing Hillary for her comments. I quite frankly thought they were fantastic. I loved them.
Criticize.
Well, they're criticizing her because they're saying she is playing right into the hands of the cuckoo clocks who truly believe that Hillary Clinton and people like her want to start concentration type camps or
Because you use those
government type.
words. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And because they know that the people they are talking to are fucking stupid, that it will play right into their hands, and that it's basically a commercial for the, any Republican that may want to use it. And, but if you have not heard what Hillary had to say, I do have the clip, and we are going to hear her words that I think are dead on.
Partisans in both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. Mm-hmm. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen. And how do you?
So obviously, when Hillary says a formal deprogramming, and of course, that's the line that's going to catch everybody's attention, she doesn't mean that you take somebody from their home or you lock them up until they are deprogrammed. But what she's saying is absolutely correct. And this is why this country is going to be in very bad shape for quite some time, because we have a sector of this country in powerful positions, whether it be through Congress or it be in some sort of media, to brainwash these people into thinking that A, the government's after them, B, the Democrats are evil. See, I could go through the whole alphabet probably, but I think she's dead on. And Lana, what do you think about what she had to say?
I don't know why anyone would be upset with that other than who she's talking about. So, like, why would Democrats be upset with that? Because the MAGA cult is going to get mad? Like, newsflash, Hillary Clinton's not running for office. Newsflash number 2, the only people that are going to get upset about her saying that are the actual people that are brainwashed.
That is correct.
Who are not going to vote for Joe Biden regardless. So
that's absolutely correct. You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, that's exactly correct, because
right?
It's not like somebody's going to start looking at the other side because they're like, oh my God, Hillary really wants to. The people who are not programmed
Right.
understand that, there's no government program that's going to, come out to deprogram anybody. And, this is so crazy. In this country, we have heard this kind of nonsense for years and years and years about the government. And again, I don't wear government t-shirts. I don't wave government flags. I don't do any of that stuff. But I've never once worried about the government doing anything to me that's going to affect my life. Have you?
No. Maybe she should have said that, they're gonna deprogram you when you go and cast your ballot. So I don't know, guys. You didn't hear it from here.
Don't give out the secret, Lana. Yeah. Gosh, I hope nobody sees this.
It's like, it's like it had the waves come from
Yeah.
the ballot machine when you put it in, and then it just
Well, it all started with that emergency government thing that went off on your phone a couple weeks ago.
That's
That's
right.
where it all started. So
Yeah,
I told you we had a double dip of my girlfriend, Jessica
yeah,
Tarlov.
let's go, Jess.
This was a brilliant response to the other four idiots, as I call them, railing about Hillary Clinton's comments. Her response was, of course, perfect.
I really need everyone to spare me the faux outrage and the pearl clutching about this. A little collection of things that Donald Trump and high-ranking Republicans call liberals on a daily basis: anarchists, anti-American, deranged, communists, corrupt, compromised, groomers and perverts, thugs and traitors. Now, she was explicit that she was talking about a subsection of the Republican Party the same way that Joe Biden is when he talks about these MAGA extremism. But you tell me, if the leader of the Democratic Party, so that would be Joe Biden, was facing 4 indictments with 91 felony counts, he had been found liable of sexually assaulting a woman and defaming her, that's E. Jean Carroll, guilty of fraud, sharing the nation's secrets, not only in the Mar-a-Lago indictment, but there was a report yesterday from ABC News that he had shared information about our nuclear submarine capacities with an Australian billionaire who's a member at Mar-a-Lago, who had then gone on and shared that with dozens of other people. Ended up making a purchase, I think, of 3 subs. It included specifics up to how many nuclear warheads they carry and how close they can get to Russian subs without being detected. And then I told you, so all of that is happening, and he's shooting up in the polls. And when you see those interviews of Trump supporters outside of the rallies, they're like, none of this is true. It's the big lie. He won the election, et cetera. And you wouldn't say to me, you guys are in a cult? It's actually tame what Hillary Clinton was saying.
Jess.
Perfect. Tame what Hillary Clinton said.
Yeah. Yeah. If that was Joe Biden with one indictment or one felony count,
one sexual assault. Yeah, I mean, and that's why, again, we're in danger for a very long time because this is not going away ever. And the fact that this kind of media is not going away,
right?
Because it's being taken as serious. And on the other side, because I have these conversations maybe too much in my lifetime, and I probably need to find a way out of them. But people are convinced, they are absolutely convinced that every other media that is not cat turd on Twitter or Donald Trump on social media or the Ben Shapiro's of the world, if it doesn't come from them, it's fake news. And when I say fake news, we're talking ABC, CBS, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post. None of them can be believed because they're just in the bag for Democrats.
And that doesn't even make any sense. Like, how can that even be possible? Like, if you have one iota of critical thinking, but they don't.
Yeah, and maybe they need some deprogramming.
Yeah, exactly. They really do.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. It's really pathetic too.
I have a feeling this clip might get some views and a lot of comments that, there's a comment section. When I go look at the comments, it shows me all the comments that were posted. Then there's a section that says, you could check these comments. You might not want to because they're pretty bad. So it doesn't matter to me. In fact, as soon as it gives me the opportunity to put them public, and I put them all public, I don't give a shit. But this should be fun to watch. But from that cult to another cult, there is we're still talking about the vaccine for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why this is still a big topic, not just for the right, but for what I call the Joe Rogan bros. There's a gentleman named Pat McAfee who is a former punter in the National Football League, and now he is a prominent voice on ESPN, the big sports channel. And he, every week on his show, every Tuesday, has current New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers on his show. And Aaron Rodgers is injured for the season, so he's got plenty of time. And Aaron Rodgers is a big anti-vax guy. Now, if you have or you have not followed the National Football League over the last 3 or 4 weeks, you may or may not know. You probably do, because it doesn't just involve an NFL player, but there's a gentleman named Travis Kelce. I'm sure you've heard that name, Lana. No? Wow.
How bad?
Oh my God. I cannot believe you have not heard this, because Travis Kelce is now dating probably the most famous woman in the world, Taylor Swift.
I know it's good. I didn't know that was his name. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. I just didn't know his name.
Woo! Okay. I was like, you would have been a perfect juror if somehow this was a trial.
I know, because now the right hates her.
They hate her, and they hate Travis Kelce, because Travis Kelce has recently found himself on a couple of different commercials, one for Bud Light and one for Pfizer for the shot.
And the flu at the same time. Is he the guy that says double shot it or something like that?
Yeah. So this is making people lose their mind. And I think, unfortunately, Pfizer having a commercial for the shot may sound strange, but when we're living in a society where you have grown men who curl up in a fetal position about getting the shot, or making up some weird shit about the shot, for some bizarre reason, maybe that's why they need to film a commercial with what is considered a manly man on the on the TV. But anyway, Pat McAfee, Aaron Rodgers, and some other goon that he has on his show. About a week ago, Aaron Rodgers called Travis Kelce Mr. Pfizer as some sort of put down, which again is a corny, weird thing to say for a grown man and a professional athlete. But he doubled down on that again. I think it was today. And this is the conversation that Aaron Rodgers, could be considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's unbelievable. He was one of the best quarterbacks I've ever watched, but he's really ruining his legacy because he wants to have a schoolyard conversation with two dopes who have no idea what they're talking about. And this is what it looked like.
Listen, Mr. Pfizer said he didn't think he would be in a vax war with me.
Oh boy.
Didn't think he'd be in a vax war.
See the phony laughter in the background, like, oh, here we go, dude. And first of all, by the way, this guy is a professional broadcaster on a major network, and that's basically what he wears every day. He's like a professional wrestler sort of announcer, and that's, I guess that's what sells nowadays in sports media and pretty much any media. But let's finish this.
This ain't a war, homie. This is just conversation. But if you want to have some sort of duel, debate, have me on the podcast. Come on the show. Let's have a conversation.
Okay. Pass it out.
Let's do it like in John Wick 4, right? So we both have a second.
Nice.
Right? So somebody to help us out. I'm going to take my man, RFK Jr.
Okay.
came out
Okay.
as an independent,
Hell yeah.
right? And he can have, Tony Fauci or some other pharmacrat, and we can have a conversation about this.
Okay. Well, I'm happy we got that sorted. Thought for sure you were going with Rogan, but obviously, Dr. Joe Rogan, I apologize. But RFK Jr., not a bad get. He's been at the forefront of this conversation on the internet I have seen, currently an independent. And could you imagine Fauci and Kelsey sitting down across from Aaron and RFK Jr.?
Appointment television.
I know you have that 500-page report already. That kind of got forgotten about in the whole.
I couldn't imagine it because neither one of them would waste their fucking time. First of all, Dr. Fauci is smarter than all three of them combined times 100. Second of all, Travis Kelce has a job right now. He's not sitting on the sidelines.
It's what? Dr. Fauci's like in his 80s and he's like running. He looks like he's gonna outlive these goons. Like
these three morons who are calling out Dr. Fauci is just a guy who's lived his whole life trying to do the betterment for society when it comes to medicine, and he's being goofed on by three goofs.
Because they're so cool, because they're talking about an old man. Like, what the? Okay, where are we, America? Like, could somebody help me? Like, just beam me up because I don't even understand anymore. The ignorance is just, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, it's just stupid. It's not even funny. Like, it's not even funny a little bit. It's like, ooh, buzzwords, Fauci. Like, it's just dumb.
It's you're right. It's not funny at all, but unfortunately it's funny to some, and it's funny to enough people to where literally if they saw Dr. Fauci out on the street, they would yell awful things at him. They would, fuck you, Fauci. You ain't getting that shot at me. First of all, again, the other thing, Donald Trump was the one who originally started the vaccine, and he sort of pounded his chest about how quickly he got it out. He took it himself. In fact, a lot of these morons who were on TV got the shot themselves, and they're still ragging on it. It makes no fucking sense.
We saw Marjorie Taylor Greene the other day in an airport with a mask on.
Right.
There's a picture of her with a mask on.
Yeah.
Stop it.
It makes no sense. And I am, as a sports fan, look, sometimes I don't even I don't even like turning on the regular news to listen to that garbage. I sure as shit do not want to listen to these fucking morons and their opinions about, you have a former punter, a quarterback, and I don't even know who the other fucking guy is. It looks like he probably played too. But they're sitting there and I'm supposed to weigh whether or not I should listen to them or Dr. Fauci about the fucking shot on a sports program.
That's just like whatever. What's his face? Like about the earth is flat. It's like,
yes.
Stop talking. Like they want to say the most outrageous things and argue something that's so ridiculous so they sound smart, and it just where's the water going? Like, it doesn't make any sense. If it's flat, where the fuck does the water run to? Does the ship just go to the end and it turns around? Like, what the fuck are you talking? None of that makes sense.
Well, it's my understanding there's actually been people who've sailed around the entire globe. So, I mean, unless
around.
I just don't.
Where does the water go? Like, is there an end? Is there like a do not, like, don't fall off the ledge sign that's like beware, like yellow tape that says don't go any further? Because if it is flat, that's what's going to happen. Like, it just ends. We're a spear.
Well, maybe you and I, maybe we should just become conspiracy theorists, because that seems to be the money maker. That seems to be that gets the eyes. It makes the money.
It's so stupid. The fucking sun. Why is it like dark one place and light the other place in the sun and the time difference? Because it's not full. If it's flat, we all have the same fucking sun.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah. Listen, I obviously, I'm pretty sure you and I do not need to give lessons on how just basic understandings of things work. But again, again, this brings me back to a concern that I have that, it's not just spilling now into the underground sort of websites. It started with underground sort of websites, then it moved on to sort of talk radio as time went on, and talk radio got huge. Then, of course, Fox News came around. Then it spilled into Fox News. I think you brought it up not too long ago that Fox News in the beginning, they reported news, but you could tell they had that right-wing slant. Now it's just a fuck it fest.
right.
Yeah, they don't care. And
Yeah.
same with podcasters are even worse. I mean, they're even worse. And there's so many people that when they listen to these podcasts, it's not even just, hey, I'm going to consider this. It's no, you guys are fucking wrong. The guy who used to be a comedian, who's now a podcaster, knows more about the vaccine than Dr. Fauci does, you fucking idiot. And I'm just like, okay.
Like your doc knows more than your own doctor?
Yeah.
How'd you get there? Like Ron DeSantis knows more than your pediatrician.
Right.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go right ahead.
Well, another segue. We're going to segue into another anti-vax guy.
Sure.
Who just rolled out a brand new campaign, Robert Kennedy Jr., who has decided that he is leaving the Democratic Party and he is going to become an independent and run solely as an independent. Before I get into any opinions on that, he rolled out his little rally, and it did not start off very well. Let's take a look to see how Robert Kennedy Jr.'s rally started.
I need my speech. You can't read anything. You can't read anything.
What about the screen up in front? Can you see it?
What?
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's upside down.
It's upside down.
It's upside down.
He's sick.
The good news for him is it's the second worst rollout of a presidential campaign behind the disaster on Elon Musk's Twitter with Ron DeSantis. If that didn't spell out how exactly his campaign was going to roll out, I don't know what did. That is a perfect metaphor for exactly how that campaign's going.
Yeah. Something's wrong with him. I don't even think he's well. Like he reminds me of someone who's just sick in general. Like he's sick in the head.
Which one are you talking about? DeSantis or Robert Kennedy Jr.?
Robert Kennedy. Like he just. It's like he's sick. Like something's not right with him, or he's an alcoholic. I don't know which one, but something's going on there.
Something's going on with him. I'm actually shocked he is married to a woman named Cheryl Hines, who is on one of my favorite shows of all time, Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David, that's on HBO. He plays his ex-wife on the show, and she's really good on it, but she's
How does
married
she
to him.
understand what that man is saying half the time? It's like, what are you talking about?
I think too that she's probably in a weird situation because Larry David, I don't know if you know who Larry David is, but he was one of the creators of Seinfeld as well. You'd have to know him if you saw him. If you don't know who he is,
tall, thin.
Yes, the bald guy. Yeah,
he's Jewish, right? Yeah.
Yes, one of the funniest people I've ever heard in my life. And he's very, very anti-Trump, and so it's kind of a weird thing. But speaking of that, is that it turns out that the Republicans may be a little bit more worried about him turning independent than the Democrats are.
Yeah.
And, things that I have seen is that the Republicans are speaking a lot about this, and the Democrats really aren't saying anything because they're kind of like, dude, so you're telling me you think the anti-vax guy, you're going to tell me that he's going to take votes away from Joe Biden? Nah. No, we think he's going to take votes away from Donald Trump.
Right, because these Republicans love him. Like, this isn't, yay, I'm glad he's not. Like, nobody was voting for him. No one is mistaking this guy for an actual Kennedy because one Gen Zer is probably like, who the fuck is Kennedy? Like, they don't, you know what I mean? They're not, they don't know.
Yeah.
And as older folks, we know. So,
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too, the only place he really showed up on for quite some time there were only right-wing leaning shows. He was on Tucker Carlson. He was on Joe Rogan. He was on Fox News all the time. He's being lauded and praised by people on Fox News and even Donald Trump. But now it's being reported that Donald Trump's about to go, I think it was quote unquote nuclear or napalm or whatever it is that he said because he is a little afraid that votes are going to be taken away from him. And when you have 91 counts on you and, somebody might say, hey, here's a guy who's anti-vax. I've already been told by Fox News. I've already told by, all the other right-wing leaning people that he's cool.
So he and Cornel West, because Cornel West, I think, changed to independent as well. Right?
Yeah, I think so too. So it's yet to be seen. I'm not. You obviously you don't have to go through any kind of primaries as an independent. You do have to have some sort of funding, I believe. But and whether or not they'll have that, I'm sure they'll find a way. But yeah, I don't know. It appears as if the Republicans are a little bit more nervous about this move than the Democrats are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By Kennedy, Robert.
Yeah.
Jr.
No question.
It's
as simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. At least we know now. At least it didn't end up like a mansion.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, okay. This is the exciting part. Are you ready to play the game?
Yeah.
Oh, no, before we play.
Okay.
One real quick thing. Robert Kennedy Jr., his own family is not too thrilled about his running. And they recently just put out this tweet.
Another one?
Can you see that tweet yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
Kennedy. Right. So it says, oh God, what does it say, Lana?
It says Bobby might share the same name as our father, but he does not share the same values, vision, or judgment. Today's announcement is deeply saddening for us. We denounce his candidacy and believe it to be perilous for our country. I was gonna put I wanted to see who she added. Like she tagged some folks in that.
Oh, it was the brothers and sisters, basically the family who said, we're not backing this. First of all, we are Kennedys.
Yeah.
We stand for democratic principles, and obviously our brother does not.
What a disgrace! What a disgrace to your name! Oh my God! What?
I'm not sure any of his, obviously his current family that is alive is not very proud of him. And I can almost guarantee you that his father and his uncle and all the other ones that have passed may not be that thrilled about him either. Okay. Game time.
Yes.
All right. So this is exciting for you. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because there's a prize if you win.
Oh, good.
You want to know what the prize is?
You gonna give me some followers or something? Yes.
Nope. This prize will change your life.
Sure.
Yep. Okay. If you get any of these right, you are going to win $100 million. Okay. And the game is called What the Fuck Is He Talking About? I'm going to play some clips of Donald Trump, and Lana, you have to tell me, what the fuck is he talking about?
That means I'm never gonna know.
You never know. Don't give up on yourself too early. You're a very smart woman. So I'm going to play the first clip. And I want you to tell me just what the fuck Donald Trump is talking about.
I think that the radical left is far worse and far more dangerous than the right. I think a lot of people on the right are so disgusted with what they're seeing with the woke and all of the other things, the mutilation. It's very, very sad. And I don't know why that they're just not attacked. When you look at Portland, what they've done, they've destroyed the city and they've killed a lot of people. When you look at what they did in Seattle, where they took over a big percentage of the city, they took it over.
Lana, what the fuck is he talking about?
Now, see, why did he have to go and turn to Portland and the other place? Because I knew about the mutilation, because I'm like, okay, you're talking about the trans kids, right? In the world. But then he went on to Portland, and I'm like, what?
He'll make not even a right turn. He'll do a fucking U-turn at 8 miles an hour on your ass.
What? Why you make me lose, Trump? Because I'm like, why do we have to go to Portland? What is happening in Portland?
Okay, so
is there a riot?
That again, that's why the name of the game is what the fuck is he talking about? Now, there's a good possibility that I can get some programmed Trumpers in the comments that can interpret. And that's probably gonna be the well, I got bad news for you, Lana. I'm going to play 2 more clips, give you a shot, but you can't win this game because nobody knows what the fuck he's talking about. All right, here's the second clip. Lana, what the fuck is he talking about?
What?
Hey, the Hamas terrorist invasion. I mean, when you think about, and what do you think of Hamas? What do you think? Do you know about Hamas?
Lana, I'm going to ask you one more time. No, actually, I'm going to ask you 2 more times, maybe 3. What the fuck is he talking about?
I mean, apparently hummus is, you don't put it on your snacks anymore. It's invaded.
Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, hummus.
He was asking somebody in the crowd.
Give me my money. He's talking about hummus. He said hummus. Hummus. Like what? Like,
you know why that's impossible for you to win that one? Because he didn't even know what he was talking about. He asked somebody in the crowd. He had no idea what he was talking about. So how could you know what he's talking about?
Is this after the invasion?
Yes. Yeah, this was recently.
What? Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
After hearing all of this stuff, the kidnapping, the killing, and he's hummus. Like, this is not a joke. It's but they want him to be the commander-in-chief because he's so presidential.
He knew he had to bring it up because it's just going to rock with that crowd, boy. They're going to hear, well, as he says it, hummus. He didn't even know because he said it a couple times. Like, am I saying this right?
The hummus.
Yeah.
Like hummus.
So he had to bring that up because he knew, the crowd is going to be like, holy shit, sir. If you were in office, there is no fucking way.
Right. And they already told him that Joe didn't say anything. So you have to talk about it. And he's like, I can imagine him in the background. Like, I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know what's going on. What is this? Okay, fine. And he just made some shit up on the fly.
Yeah. Well, in that very same rally, he had a few more things to say about hummus. He had a few more things to say. Lana, you get another opportunity to tell me what the fuck is he talking about.
Sure.
It even pertains to Israel. What happened yesterday was incredible. I mean, so many people killed. I don't know, you've been here, but the number was much bigger than they reported even this morning. It's a very big number, very, very big number. And vicious, too. Vicious. Young children just slaughtered. It's terrible what's going on. So this is the snake, and people love it. And
Lana.
What's the snake?
what the
I think
fuck
you're
is he?
cheating. You didn't let me hear the whole clip. He was about
Well,
to explain to me what the snake was.
I am cheating because first of all, I don't have the $100 million to give you. I'm going to be honest. So I have no idea if he even won or lost this game. I have no clue. You might have.
But
I have
I
no
mean,
idea.
he's so like nonchalant. He's just like, yeah, it was vicious. Children just murdered, and but cut a snake.
Now I am because I know what he's talking about
Oh,
with the snake
gross.
thing, but in context, I need to know how you go from what he's talking about to the snake thing. I don't know if you've heard the clip before, and I don't have it, but he does this little thing about the story of the snake. And at the end of it, basically, it's I'm a snake. He leads you into thinking he's cool. And then all of a sudden, the snake bites you at the end. And the snake says, see, I told you I'm a snake. You should have never listened to me, sort of thing. It's some.
Is that like the thing that Herschel Walker was talking about with the goats and the cows? And they
Lana,
were,
that's another game we can play. I never knew what the fuck Herschel
do you
Walker was
remember
talking
that? Do you
about.
remember he told that whole story
Kind of
about a
vaguely,
goat
I
and a
do.
cow or something? Was
I
having
tried to have Herschel
babies?
Walker removed from my brain. Unfortunately, he's gone away. This idiot hasn't. So, that's 3 attempts. What the fuck you're talking about? Again, even though I don't have the money, I'm going to give you one more shot. Just one more, okay?
Okay.
One more shot of what the fuck is he talking about. This time it comes in the form of a tweet. And in this tweet, let's see. Donald Trump says, I kept Israel safe. Nobody else will. Nobody else can. And all I know of, and I know all of the players. Lana, what the fuck's he talking about?
Well, first, that's not a tweet. That is a
truth.
truth. So, well, I know we shouldn't even call it truth, huh? Because it's
Well,
never
yeah.
just a post.
It's a lie on Truth Social.
He knows, right? Lie social. He knows all the players. I don't know the players in the Middle East. He should because his son-in-law knows them too.
Well, he apparently was the one that was supposed to end all of this.
That is true.
And I don't know if he did. And maybe after the Trump administration left, they said, well, Jared's gone. So back to business.
Middle East. He went down there to get peace in the Middle East. He got a piece.
Yeah.
He got a piece.
Well, that is going to conclude the game of what the fuck are you talking about?
That's hilarious. Like you could just do that all day because all day no one knows what the hell he's talking about.
Well, we'll play this game again. You're right. We could probably do it for an entire hour and a half, but we don't want to we don't want to wear out what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
We want to do it every once in a while.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? So, so people are just going to be clamoring like, oh my God, when are they going to play what the fuck are you talking about again?
Yay, right?
But I think you did good. Again, I'm not sure if you won. I'm not sure if you lost.
I don't have the money anyway, so
don't have the money. But Lana, you're gonna see me in court with Lana one day.
I know, right? Y'all heard it here.
Yeah.
He said I won, like that guy.
I think I have a good case though, because the judge's gonna say, Lana, I mean,
what the fuck's he talking about?
Well, nobody knows what the fuck these people are talking about. So how do you win? It's impossible to win.
That's hilarious.
So I had one last clip
Okay.
before we went, and we have talked about before on the show about the media and how they like to present stories nowadays. And I can't stand it. And I think it's dangerous for this country. And I think the media, whether it's right-leaning or left-leaning, did I say that right? Left-leaning, does a disservice to this country, because now the media and all media is really more about clicks and money than it is getting the message across to the American people the right and correct way. It's been said before. I used to hail Bill Maher, who I can't stand anymore, and it's a shame because I used to love him. But he was always right about one thing, that the media and the news, the local news, or the nightly news that you'd see with Tom Brokaw and Ted Koppel, all those guys. It was what was called a loss leader. And basically it would lead into the 7:00 programming and it would lose money. And again, they were just used to get your audience up to lead into the 7:00 programming and the primetime programming and stuff like that. It wasn't supposed to be a moneymaker. CNN had come along and did start turning it more into news makes money, but it wasn't, to the point where it is now, where it is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And as we have seen throughout this country many, many times, is that money is the most powerful thing. It is more powerful than truth. It is more powerful than anything else that you could possibly want in this country. They don't care. They just want their money. But last week, more good news came out about Joe Biden and the jobs report.
Yeah.
And the jobs report came out and it doubled basically the expectations of the amount of jobs that they had anticipated coming out. Over 300,000 jobs were added to the U.S. economy.
No one's talking about it.
No one's talking about it. But a reporter did ask Joe Biden about how he addresses the American people who are still feeling the pain and who are still, feeling like everything is not great. And this was Joe Biden's response, and I really enjoyed this. So let's take a listen to President
People
Biden.
still don't feel positive or feel good news about the economy.
Well, first of all, you just heard the news today, too. They haven't heard it. I think the people, those 300+ thousand people who got jobs, feel better about the economy. Look, I got to choose my words here. Close. You all are not the happiest people in the world. What you report. And I mean it sincerely. It gets you get more legs when you're reporting something that's negative. I don't mean you're picking on me. I'm just the nature of things. You turn on the television, and there's not a whole lot about boy saves dog as he swims in the lake, to say, it's about, somebody pushed the dog in the lake.
Yeah, he expressed himself, I think, in a manner unlike the previous president, who basically would say, you guys are fake, you guys are mean to me, you guys are this, you guys are that, and, stopped himself. I'll choose my words carefully because I don't want to make it look like the media is after me.
Right.
But he's exactly right. The media is about, you'd even see the headlines. The headlines would be like, why adding $300,000 jobs to the economy is bad for Biden. And you're like, wait, what? That's the fucking headline that you just came out with?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, or 300 whatever jobs add to the economy, and people are so hungry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jesus Christ! It's like, can we just? And if there is something about it, does that have to be the headline? Because it's my experience that most people will read a headline and just think, that's the news I got for the day. Now I'm moving on to the meme on Twitter.
Right.
That's the second part of news that I got for the day. Now I'm done because I've educated myself properly. And now I can get in my group text and sound like a fucking moron and report what I saw on a headline and on a meme.
Yeah. Yep. It's bad. It's bad. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how it stops because it's just always been like this. It has just always been like this.
Well, I don't know if it's always been like this. I
Well,
think,
since
there
Trump came on it's just been a Trump show. Like a
well, yes, recently 100%. Yeah, it's been like this, but there were sort of regulations when it came to media. There was something called the fairness doctrine where you would have to report one side, and if you report the other, you get to report the other side. And it kind of had a check and balance until Reagan came in, got rid of that, and that really opened the floodgates for the Rush Limbaughs and Fox Newses and
Right.
now the kooky podcasters that we hear and YouTube channels. And, some people have called our YouTube channel kooky, but, I don't know. I think it's just basically, we're in a time now, we've said it before, that how does this go away? How do you combat it? How do you do anything about it? You can't, right?
We just have to have a lot of us out here who,
Yeah.
and a lot of people on these different platforms who call it out. And it's interesting, like, I'm part of a resistor group, whatever. And we have a graphics team. So we have like an idea room, whatever's going on in the day. We just pop, throw ideas in there for the graphics team to make the graphics for us. And one of the graphics that we have now to use is like, I forget what it is. Something about like this is a Republican lie or something, and it has fingers like pointing up to it, so
Yes.
that if you see one of them lie, you could drop our fresh resist graphics right up underneath it, like, because they're just out here lying about everything especially that $6 billion, like, so.
Right.
So that my point was that those are the things that we have to continue to do. Just call out the lies.
And, quite frankly, at the end of the day, it is working, probably not to the point where we need it to be working, because there's no way a Donald Trump should even be close
No.
to Joe Biden or really any other candidate as far as president of the United States. So that's where it's scary that enough of these people believe it. But we've talked about this on the show before, that it's been quite clear since 2016 that people have their eyes open and they're going, I don't know, this is pretty fucking crazy. So that's why they lost in 18. That's why they lost in 20. That's why they lost in 2022. There's, if Mark Elias has his way, they're going to lose the House in 2024. They could probably hold on to the Senate. Again, none of this is going to be easy, but, and again, you and I are not, we're not directly, anybody can listen. We invite anybody to listen to the show, but we're not suspecting that we're going to change any minds of a programmed Donald Trump voter. And it's quite clear from a lot of the comments that we get, but,
and I don't even like, we talk about this, and not to cut you off, it's just like these Republicans have no policy. So Donald Trump voters don't even care about policy.
Nope.
They don't even care about kitchen table issues. They too just care about winning. It's like they're living vicariously through the lawmakers. Like the lawmakers want to win and have power, and they're rooting for the lawmakers just to win. Like it's like a freaking video game to them. They don't care about their Social Security being cut. Like they're not thinking about any of that. And that's just like one of the things I say to them when I notice a troll and I see that gray hair, and I'm like, you're not concerned about your Social Security? Like I said, like what's wrong with you?
Well, what maybe even scarier is that they absolutely do care about their Social Security. They care about their Medicaid and Medicare. They do care about all that, but they think it's the Democrats who are going to take it away from them. They are convinced when Republicans out loud say that they are going to do it, and you can tell them to their face, and they still will go to another rally later, be interviewed, and go, nah.
How are you supporting Republicans and you're not going on their websites and reading their platforms? Because it's there.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling. I can't understand it. And again, a lot of it's just so simplistic. It's not even hard to understand. And the easiest things to understand is difficult for them to either understand, or they are intentionally blocking it from their brain because something bigger is taking over. And that is an internal anger and an internal sort of strife that has them thinking that their way of life is being taken over by people that don't look and sound like them, which again is not true. But let's say, even there is some sort of truth to that. How's that going to change your life? What's it going to do? Do you think what happens to you? What,
Right.
you know, again, we talked about this before. I'm getting older, and I know at some point I'm going to be off this earth, and the world is changing, and what's happening, with younger people, and as they get older, there's going to be younger people, and it's just not for me. But it doesn't, if it doesn't affect me directly, what do I care?
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. Lana.
Oh, this is the age-old question. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah, what is happening? But all right, do you have anything that you would like to say before we go?
No, not really.
Yeah. Are we doing our show Thursday?
I did 2 weeks in a row.
What?
I don't know.
Holy shit.
I've been trying to do, seriously, I've just been trying to do every other week just to kind of pace it out. Sister be tired, you be tired of how you come here every single week. I just be like,
That's
oh.
not good news for me, because that means that you are probably going to do everything you can to try to get this $100 million so you don't have to do this shit anymore. Or actually, you probably still would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I made Thursday. I don't know. It's like, see, and it's so funny. Like, I have zero, like, no makeup on today, because prior to coming on, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna run that 5 miles so I don't have to do it after the show. I'm gonna get it right in.
There you go.
Yeah, right after work, bust that move.
Yep.
Like, get it out the way.
Absolutely.
So
well,
now
you
I'm
get your
like,
exercises anytime. I know. Well, it's I find the later I exercise, the easier it is for me to sleep, for
it
sure.
feels good too,
Uh-huh.
but it's harder to get up in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't care whether I exercise, I don't. It's always hard for me to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Pain.
Is there anything happening in the news next week? Anything we should be looking out
I'm
for?
sure something with a Donald Trump trial. There has to be. I
Yeah,
mean,
Jack Smith, didn't he file something in Florida because he's trying to figure out what the heck Eileen Cannon is doing with?
yeah. Yeah. Now, I don't know. I saw somebody, I guess Eileen Cannon has, she paused the trial, and from what I saw, as the word was indefinitely. But I also read somebody that I trust that said this does not mean that the trial's not happening, that she's that there is something to it. I don't know exactly what, but basically they said anybody that worries that this trial is being delayed indefinitely, don't worry about that. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think today or before we got on this week or something, Jack filed some type of motion
He did.
in response to Trump's attorneys tried their motion to have it delayed. Like, he filed some type of response to it. I don't know, but
Yeah. And you ask, is something going on next week? Right now, there's about 100 things in the works that are getting ready to happen next week that I'm sure we'll be able to talk about, because we've had this before. So many things can happen tomorrow that by the time we get on, it's good for you because you could talk about it on your show too, pretty fresh. But, a lot of times, it's a week later and I'm like, man, but then of course something takes over.
the news
And
cycle is crazy.
it
It's
is
just
beyond
really,
crazy.
before you know it, Israel, it's gonna be like Ukraine, right? Like, it's just
Mhm.
kind of in the background.
Yeah.
Speaker, they're supposed to be coming back to vote, so that's gonna be happening.
Is that happening tonight?
I can't remember. Is it? I thought it was this week.
I
Quietly,
I
right?
think it is. And again, that's such a shit show that it's even that's just as hard to follow as fucking Israel and Palestine. I don't know what the hell is going on with those people. I don't, that's the other point I meant to make about Israel, is that there's one thing that confuses me that I just will never understand. There is the party, the right wing section of the party, that is adamant about protecting Israel, standing up for Israel, and doing this. This is the same party that has marches that say Jews will not replace us, and then Nazis, and that. So I don't understand the whole dynamic there, how they're both on the same side.
Right, because Ron DeSantis was literally on Morning Joe this morning talking about it, and I thought the same thing. Like, dude, they're saluting you on bridges in Florida.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, and they don't denounce those people, so that's
And
why
they
it
don't
makes it
denounce
shocking to
it.
me.
Right, right. It's because they talk out of both sides of their yeah,
Yeah,
what. Like,
yeah.
it's
That's one thing I don't
mm,
understand. I
mm-mm,
don't understand that
nothing.
whole dynamic, and they're a
Um,
strange bunch, man. They are just a strange bunch
yeah,
of people.
I'm terrified, to be honest. I know we're gonna go, but something's gonna come down. We're in too much disarray right now when things are like off balance. It's easy for something to happen. Like America is not. We laugh and joke or whatever just to get through it, but we're not. We're so off balance. It's not even funny.
Well, we don't
Government,
have a Speaker of the House.
yeah,
We also don't have military people that should be in place
correct.
because of Tommy Tuberville, who's still holding
Cor-
on to his.
Correct. Exactly. And people don't even want to join the military right now. So it's
Right.
gonna be where we something. Yeah.
There's
It's
got to be pressure, you would think, from the Senate leadership and even from the Republican side of Mitch McConnell to get Tommy Tuberville said, what are you doing,
yeah,
man?"
yeah, none of that makes sense to me. All I hear Democrats complaining about is going to take 700 hours to do them individually. So start.
Yeah.
Just start. Just start
Yeah.
doing them because what you're still going to be behind the gun if he doesn't do it. Like you still have to start somewhere. Like what the fuck? It almost reminds me of they kind of just want to use that to complain about it, to have a talking point. And that is disturbing to me too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one last thing is that it does, and again, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but there because the Republican side is just seems so evil. There's something, that almost makes me feel sometimes that not that they're secretly planning something to, make something go wrong, but I don't know. There's just too many people involved, like Elon Musk, who are private citizens, and
Right.
Tucker Carlson, who somehow
Right.
is, in bed with Russia, and all
Right.
these other
Right.
other people that
Mm.
it's just something feels amiss.
Right. Right. And it always does with them. And it was
Yeah,
crazy because we felt that before. And then once Trump left office, we were like, holy shit, like the stuff and how deep the levels that they were just peeling back in those meetings they were having and how they're planning to take over and fire everybody. And that's still on the books. That's what they want to do. There will be no Democrat
right.
working for the federal government ever again.
Yep. Well, we're just asking questions. Is that how
Uh,
you're supposed to do it? Is
yeah.
that how that
Yeah.
works? We're just
Just
asking
asking.
questions.
Just,
All
we just
right.
want to know.
Well, we'll get $100 million contract now because of that. So,
Yay,
Lana,
that's cool.
Thursday night, if you are on,
Yeah.
again, we'll just do this again. Sit in
Okay.
front of your computer, tune into the Lana Quest show. If she comes on, you're very lucky. If she doesn't, there's great programming on, I'm sure, somewhere on 8 o'clock on Thursday nights that you could switch to. So, if you've subscribed, it's a lot easier because you could see that
Hit the
you're on live, right?
yeah, just hit that notification bell.
The notification bell makes it
That's
even
right. And
easier.
speaking of, please like, share, and subscribe this video.
Thank you. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, please like and subscribe and share
Yeah,
this video, just like
yeah,
Miss Lana said.
yeah.
Lana, like I said, always fantastic talking to you.
Yes.
And next Tuesday, we'll be back at 8 o'clock live on the Black and White Show with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.